As you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I hang out around a lot of entrepreneurs, but the truth is for many small business owners, they really should be getting into a franchise. What is franchising and how do you pick the right one? That's next on the Jeff Crilley Show.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
So I got to tell you, I started my company in my home 11 years ago. I didn't really have a playbook. I wasn't working with a blueprint. I was kind of making it up as I went along, and things worked out okay. But for many small business owners, they do need a blueprint. They need a model that has worked over and over again. So we're talking about franchising today on this show. And joining us to talk about that, Sara Waskow. She is the owner of FranNet of DFW. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, I'm fascinated by what you do because you really help the process. A small business owner who's thinking about getting into a franchise, if they choose the wrong franchise or they got sold a bill of goods, it's really not their passion. Tell us more about what FranNet does.
Yeah, so FranNet is a consulting firm that really strives to provide the education, tools, and resources for prospective business owners. So most people don't understand franchising. They don't know what they don't know. So we really want to start with educating them about the industry to even see if that's a path that they would want to take to business ownership. It's very unique and it's not for everyone. So we really want to help them evaluate if that's a good way to go, and then if so, walk them through a process to help them assess what their goals and interests are, their financial capabilities, their financial expectations, and then mitigate as much risk as we can and simplify that search to help them find the right opportunity.
And I would have to say that for a lot of small business owners, we're seeing these baby boomers that will leave corporate America and they'll take their entire nest egg and they'll put it in a franchise, and then a year later they're out of business because they chose the wrong franchise or they really didn't know what they were doing. That's where you come in.
It is. A lot of people choose a business for the wrong reason. They get passionate about a product or a service and they really don't have a clear understanding of the role of the owner. So we try to reverse engineer it a little bit and really get them thinking what they want the business to do for them, what kind of lifestyle are they seeking, what kind of hours do they want to put in. You know, to your point about exiting corporate America, some people are still feeling that they want to be hands-on, 100% in the business, whereas others are feeling like perhaps they want to step back a little bit and kind of do what we might call a semi-absentee model, where they have a manager-run business and can still be involved, but not to the level of, full hands-on ownership. So,
absolutely. And I was on your website and I found a video you produced a couple of years ago. I thought it did a good job summarizing your business model. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
Hello, my name is Sara Waskow, and I'm the owner of FranNet of Dallas-Fort Worth. We are a franchise that helps other people find franchises. We've been around for 30 years, and it is my joy to help clients in the Dallas-Fort Worth market go through a process to first of all determine if business ownership is even right for them. We understand that not everybody is cut out to be a business owner, nor do they want to be. So first of all, is that something that is even right for you, owning a business? Secondly, is franchise ownership right? And lastly, if you assess that being a franchisee is a good fit to help you meet your goals, both lifestyle and financial, we will walk you through an educational process to find an opportunity that will best suit your skill set and help you meet your goals. So we really want to assess with you, what is it that you want to be? Do you want to be in control? Do you want to be out of corporate America? Do you want to be with family more? Do you want to be home more and off of an airplane? What is it that you are seeking to accomplish through business ownership? So I want you to be aware that this is a completely free service. If you happen to find a business that I've introduced you to, the franchisor ends up paying me a referral fee. So there's no monetary cost to you. There will be a time investment on your end to go through the process and do your due diligence so you can get to a confident answer. Your answer may be yes, and it may be no. And whatever you decide, we wish you the best because your success is our primary goal.
Sara, I thought that was a wonderful video that I thought condensed really in 1 2-minute clip what you guys do. Tell us, you had a story that you wanted to share of a successful outcome just recently.
Yes, so there's a lot of question right now about everything going on, and is this a good time to start a business? And that's certainly understandable. Some people feel it's a great time to start. Interest rates are low. I think landlords are going to be more flexible and more open, but not everybody feels confident. So I wanted to share a success story of a client of mine who I worked with last year. He opened his business on February 1st. And of course, we all know what happened in March, and he opened a sign business. And so, signage is a business right now that is really growing. These businesses are having to make a lot of changes. And so he had an outstanding month in April. This gentleman had no experience in the sign business. He sold medical devices and was on the road. And that was one of the things you mentioned in the clip is being home and off an airplane. He was on the road all the time and was just really burned out on that. He came from a family of entrepreneurs. His father and grandfather had a family business where he grew up in Iowa and had just always had a desire to be on his own, and so felt like that it was time. And he's really, he opened his business up in Northlake and is really seeing much success even through, a really difficult time right now.
I love that story. And we're going to show a clip off your website because I was impressed at just the diversity of the different businesses that you represent. And how do you go about selecting companies that you work with?
Well, great question. If you notice, some of those say FranNet verified. So we have a database or a portfolio of franchises that have to go through a vetting process with FranNet. So they really, if they're not in our portfolio, it doesn't mean there's necessarily something wrong with them. It just might not be the right fit for what our clients are looking for. We have between 150 and 200 brands. Most of them are service-based. And ultimately, we want to make sure that they have the right infrastructure. There's no red flags on the FDD, which is the franchise disclosure document. We want to also make sure that their franchisees are happy. That's a key factor and a differentiator in franchising is that you can talk to franchisees. So as far as our portfolio is concerned, we don't work with a lot of restaurants. We have a handful, but most restaurants just are not what our clients are seeking. They don't have restaurant experience. They may not want the complexity of a restaurant. And so we're really looking for opportunities that we have stood the test of time. FranNet's been around since 1987, so we've seen lots of recessions, and we know which businesses and industries have made it through those, and so those are the type that we're looking for when evaluating which brands to accept into our inventory.
So if somebody's watching this right now and they're thinking, that sounds like that could be me, what are some questions that they should be asking themselves before they call you up?
Yeah, really good question. So, a key question for someone to really assess if they want to be a franchisee is, are they comfortable and capable of following a system? If they have a lot of desire to kind of build their own business, create something from scratch, make all the decisions, then they may not be a fit for a franchisee. Another question is, are they willing to wear a lot of hats? As an owner of a franchise, you need to be willing to, potentially clean the toilets if the need arises. You need to be willing to go out and, market your business, manage people. There's a variety of skills, and each franchise is going to have a different requirement or expectation. So that's a lot of why it's important to evaluate what you're good at and then how that aligns with what that franchisor needs in their owners.
And I think a lot of people would be surprised at how affordable it is. People hear stories about what it costs to get a Sonic or a McDonald's, but in the case of some of these franchise opportunities, it's really not a big investment, is it?
No, so we have a good number of franchises that are under 100,000. We have very few over 500,000. So really the bulk of opportunities fall in the 100 to 500,000 range as far as full investment. That's not just franchise fees. So I would caution anybody who's looking online and they see a number, a lot of times that's franchise fees. So there's other things. You're going to need insurance, and you may need vehicles and signage and marketing and working capital and things like that. So when we throw out those numbers, that's an all-in investment. And so a lot of the owner-operator brands can be under 100,000. You have, if you don't have brick and mortar, you have less involved to get started. They can ramp up faster. And one thing really important to note is there's no correlation between the total investment and the total amount of earning potential. So don't assume that the more you invest, that the more you can earn, because there is no correlation between those two.
Wow. Sara, you have been an amazing guest. We're going to end with your website so everybody can get in touch. It's FranNetDFW.com. Sara, you have been awesome. I hope you'll come back.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
You bet. And that's it for now. We'll see you next time.